Great. My name is, tell me when you're ready.
I never know when it's going to pick it up for sure, so I wait until I see it.
Representative Greenwood, I'm happy to see you there. You look great. Glad you're doing well.
Happy to be here.
Great. My name is Glasses. Tell me when you're ready. Touch.
I never know when it's going to pick it up for sure, so I wait until I see it. All right, ready to go.
Okay. My name is Senator Joe Baldacci. I'm from District 9, representing Bangor and Herman, and I'll be presiding over this work session of the Joint Standing Committee on State and Local Government. The purpose of this meeting is for the committee to receive information from staff and others in order for the members to consider the legislative proposals before them and to make recommendations or reports to the legislature. Only committee members, the committee analysts, and those specifically invited to attend will be participating in the work session using Zoom. For members of the public wishing to observe this meeting, it is being live streamed on the committee's YouTube channel and will also be recorded for viewing after this meeting is concluded. We are also broadcasting the audio of this meeting on the legislature's website, legislature.maine.gov. The YouTube live stream of this meeting, which is accessible to the public, begins at the scheduled start time for the work session and will remain on until the end of the day's work. If your video or audio is on, even if the committee is not then an active session or is on break, the public can see or hear from you. Please remember to mute your microphone when you're not speaking. Please check to make sure that your name appears correctly on the Zoom screen, which I will correct mine shortly. This is a public meeting. I must remind you that while we are meeting, discussion must happen on screen and not by way of Zoom chat. You may use the chat to request to speak or to indicate that you are having a technical issue or to indicate that you are momentarily stepping away from the screen. However, again, you are not to use the chat feature for substantive discussions. If you are having technical difficulties, please contact the committee clerk who will help try to resolve the problem. Members will speak with leave of the chair. Materials will be provided electronically for the meeting. When it comes time for the committee to vote, we must have a quorum present of at least 7 members, including a senator. In order to be counted as present, your identity must be visually verifiable on the screen. I will now call on members of the committee to introduce themselves, starting with Representative Downs.
Good morning, and thank you, Senator Baldacci. My name is Kathy Downs. I represent District 130, which is Bucksport and Orrington. Thank you.
You, Representative Randall Greenwood.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, my name is Representative Randall Greenwood. I represent House District 82, which are the towns of Litchfield, Monmouth, and my hometown of Wales in both Androscoggin and Kennebec counties.
Representative Lynn Copeland.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Lynn Copeland, and I am honored to represent the folks in House District 14, which is coastal and downtown Saco.
Great. Senator Ned Claxton, good morning.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Ned Claxton, and I serve in Senate District 20, representing Auburn, where I live, Minot, Mechanic Falls, Poland, and New Gloucester.
Representative Toole.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm Representative Will Toole. I represent the Machias area plus Lubec and Eastport.
Thank you. Representative Walter Reisman.
Mr. Chairman,
Coming in kind of muffled, Representative.
Sorry, I'll try to speak up. I'll probably have to go following by Can you hear me all right from here?
Still a little muffled.
Let me come back. I'm going to come in by phone, please. Okay.
Okay.
Let's go on to somebody else if you want.
Okay, sure. Representative Bryant.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm Representative Mark Bryant. I represent House District 24, pilot town of Wyndham. Pleasure to be here.
Co-chair, Representative Ann Matlack. Good morning, Ann.
Good morning, Senator. My name is Ann Matlack. I represent House District 92, which includes the communities of Cushing, Thomaston, South Thomaston, St. George, Matinicus, Creehaven, and the Muscle Ridge Island and it's great to see everybody once again.
Well, Representative Reisman, you want to take a second?
Well, I'll try. It was working earlier, but it's not working now too well. I'm Walter Rice, from District 69, representing Harrison, Seymour, and Birdfield, and two counties.
Okay, we'll take that. And so the first order of business, we have several distinguished guests. I just want to introduce our committee clerk, Cheryl McGowan. Thank you, Cheryl, and Lynn Caswell, our staff analysts, who, obviously you guys did a great job there in this past 12 months, and look forward to the next session. Thanks for joining us. So in terms of hearing from people we have, does the committee have a preference in terms of the order, or start with Senator Black? Or
no, I believe we start with Representative Dunphy. It's her bill that's being presented here at the public hearing.
Okay, so it's LD 895, a bill to make changes to. Is that correct, Representative Dunphy?
It is, yes. And good morning. It's nice to see everybody today.
Good to see you.
So I'm getting my testimony here. Senator Baldacci, Representative Matlack, and distinguished members of the Joint Standing Committee on State and Local Government. I am Michelle Dunphy. I represent House District 122, which is comprised of Old Town and the Indian Island voting district in the main house. And I also have the distinct honor of serving as the House Majority Leader. Earlier this year, I served on the legislature's Bipartisan Apportionment Commission, and I'm here today to present LD 895, an act to make necessary changes to state law. This bill serves as a vehicle for implementing the redistricting plan for the Franklin County Commissioners that was laid out in LD 621, which passed with overwhelming support during the legislature's first regular session. And while the Apportionment Commission has concluded its work and passed the constitutional deadline for most redistricting, the Constitution does allow the legislature until January 15th of 2022 to apportion any county commissioner districts. Since the commission only adopted a 3-district plan, your action is needed to implement a 5-district plan. And thank you all for taking the time during the holiday season to complete this critical work. As this committee is aware, the idea of expanding the Franklin County Commission was first addressed in LD 940 during the 129th legislature. And after technical concerns with that bill, LD 621 in the 130th legislature mandated that Franklin County commissioners hold a referendum to determine whether the commission should be expanded from 3 to 5 seats. In November, the voters of Franklin County strongly supported this referendum by a margin of 5,782 to 4,154. LD 621 outlined 5 commissioner districts for the legislature to adopt in the event that the voters approve this referendum. With one minor exception, this amended bill fully adheres to the districts supported by the committee on May 26, 2021, and will allow the legislature to adopt the plan. In LD 621 and LD 940, it was the intent of this committee for District 1 to consist of Temple, Wilton, and the part of Farmington west of the Sandy River. District 2 would consist of the part of Farmington east of the Sandy River. And after reviewing the census data, it's clear that this boundary line would create unconstitutionally small district in Farmington. So in order to ensure equal representation, Maine's redistricting laws require that all districts be within a 5% of what is known as ideal district size. So for Franklin County, the ideal district size is 5,891. And this is calculated by taking the county's total 2020 census population and dividing it by 5. To ensure that Franklin County's district meet the legal requirement, this amendment has the Farmington district's boundaries line go along the Sandy River south of Route 2 south of the Route 2 bridge, and along Town Farm and Fairbanks Road, north of the Route 2 bridge. This can be clearly seen in the attached maps, figure 2. This will ensure that both districts are well within the 5% of threshold. In fact, the Temple, Wilton, and Farmington district will be just 0.22% off from the ideal district size, while the part of Farmington's seat will deviate by only 2.7%. This minimal adjustment north of the Route 2 bridge to adhere with the state's redistricting requirements is the only difference between this bill and the bill supported by this committee earlier this year. Once again, this bill simply offers the committee a vehicle for implementing the plan that was approved by this committee and ratified by the voters earlier this year. And thank you for your consideration, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Majority Leader Dunphy. Majority Leader, thank you for being here. Do you want to show us the, you also attached two maps, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and then map, the page 3 of your testimony is a map. Why don't you describe what that map is?
Let's see.
District
These are the districts as they were proposed in LD 621. And then that was the first map.
Yeah.
And then the second map is as it was changed to meet the requirements of the redistricting plan to the 5 commissioner seats.
Okay, so what we'll be enacting is the illustration 2 will be
Correct.
what we are enacting. Okay, I just wanted to be clear. Okay, any other questions? Lynn?
I believe Lynn Caswell has a question.
Yep.
Yes, thank you, chairs. I just wanted to let you know that I can share the maps at any point, if that's helpful.
Yeah, I don't know. It may be helpful if that's possible, Lynn. Representative Toole, do you have a question?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm not sure where the feedback's coming from, but yes, my question for Majority Leader Dunphy is, could you walk us through the timeline and why you believe it's important for this why we have adopted such an aggressive timeline, given that it is the holiday season?
So LD 920.
95.
Thank you. Was passed by the committee in May. And then redistricting we had a very constrained timeline of 45 days. And we met in August and September. So what the bill did that was passed in May, excuse me, that was LD 621. That drew the lines, and then redistricting meant, but in the redistricting plan, there was only the approval for 3 county commissioner seats. And there was an election in November, which extended it to 5. That had to be approved by the voters before we could do this legislation to change it. That's why we're meeting here today with this new bill, and it needs approval before we get to session so it can be implemented to meet the constitutional requirement date of January 15th for the county commissioner seat. I hope that was clear.
So it's to make sure we meet our constitutional obligations and at the same time satisfy what the wishes are of the Franklin County voters.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you very much.
Well, did you have another question? Your hand was still up.
No, I'm trying to figure out how to put it down on my phone.
Okay. Yeah. Representative Greenwood.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a quick question. Can you clarify whether or not the 5% is constitutionally required or is it, is it strongly recommended?
No,
'Cause I
it was
think-
required that it be within 5%.
Thank you.
The comments? Hey, is Representative Landry, did you wish to speak on this matter?
Yes, thank you, Senator Baldacci. Good morning, Senator Baldacci, Representative Matlack, and esteemed members of the State and Local Government Committee. Majority Leader Dunphy took a lot of my fire, so she explained everything pretty well. I'm Scott Landry. I represent District 113 that includes the towns of Farmington, New Sharon, and I'm here to support LD 895, an act to make necessary changes to state law, a bill to define the new commissioner districts in Franklin County submitted by Representative Dunphy. This session, the legislature passed for the second time a bill, LD 621, to increase the number of commissioners in Franklin County from 3 to 5. The bill was put to referendum and the citizens in Franklin County passed it easily. LD 895 defines the makeup of the new districts based on the US Census results. It is based on the districts laid out in 621 for the Change in Population Center. Thank you very much. I'll answer any questions.
Any questions? Recognize Senator Black. Senator Black, you're on mute. I think you have to unmute.
Sorry about that.
Sorry.
Good morning, Senator Baldacci, Representative Matlack, and members of the Committee on State and Local. I am Senator Russell Black, and I represent Senate District 17, which is all of Franklin County and 4 towns in Kennebec County. I am here to provide testimony in support of LD 895, an act to make the necessary changes to state law, a bill to define the new county commission districts in Franklin County submitted by Representative Michelle Dunphy. As you're aware, earlier this year, the legislature passed for the second time a bill to increase the number of county commissioners in Franklin County from 3 to 5. This past November, the voters of Franklin County overwhelmingly passed the referendum to go from 3 to 5 commissioners. Now this legislation will define the makeup of the new districts based on information from the recent US Census results. I believe that the districts will meet what the majority of the citizens of Franklin County have asked for at the ballot box, and I have heard throughout the county who really want this change. And this map really defines what we were trying to do in getting more representation into northern Franklin County, where we have 2 ski resorts and 2 airports, which represent over 25% of the total valuation in the county, and they're growing very fast. So this would give them an opportunity to have more representation on the county commissioners board. I urge you to pass this proposal, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. Thank you.
Senator, are there any questions of Senator Black?
Oh, thank you.
Seeing that, I do want to recognize Senator Rosen. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you.
Shortly introduce yourself, and then we'll go on to the next witness.
I'm Senator Kimberly Rosen, Senate District 8. My district goes from Castine all the way up to Lincoln, plus the city of Brewer. Thank you.
Okay, so Ms. Doak, I believe also is here. Did you wish to speak, Ms. Doak?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Senator Baldacci and Representative Matlack and members of the State and Local Government Committee. My name is Gwen Doak. I'm a resident of Wilton here in Franklin County, and I'm here in support of LD 895, an act to make necessary changes to state law as presented by Representative Dunphy. And I think it's important that legislators honor the plan that was shared with voters in the law prior to the people's vote, essentially as close as possible to those geographic boundaries, just in terms of meeting the requirements of state law, in terms of redistricting for population and geographical boundaries. And that's as opposed to any of the unofficial maps that got circulated. I just think it's very important not to erode the trust and confidence that people have in government, and to stick as closely as you can to those district boundaries as outlined before. Thank you very much.
Questions for Ms. Doak? Yes, Representative Matlack.
Thank you, and welcome, Ms. Doak. I did read that you were concerned about the boundaries and that we adhere to what was presented. Do you find that the modest changes in order to more properly align with the population, is that something that is acceptable in your definition of as presented?
Yes, I apologize if it wasn't clear in the written testimony. Yes, with the minor changes, but maintaining that geographic boundary of the river. And I think because it does also adhere to what Representative Landry and Senator Black were saying as far as northern representation and the way that we allot those eastern most towns versus the northern. So.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Representative Toole. Representative Toole, you are on mute.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Yes. Thank you, ma'am, for your remarks today. And thank you, Mr. Chairman. I guess my question is that, so am I correct in understanding there were multiple maps being circulated prior to the election? Is that, did I understand that correctly, or am I off base there? That's the first one.
From what I understand, and I don't know directly from personal experience, but there were some unofficial maps being considered as far as how Farmington was divided and the easternmost towns, what was paired up or divided. Yes, sir.
Okay, and so with that, is it your opinion that people have had adequate time to digest this quote unquote official map, given that it wasn't designed by the Apportionment Commission as originally put forth in law? Is it your opinion people have seen this and had enough time to really weigh in?
Yeah. Yes, Representative Dunphy's map most closely matches what it's very minor change from what was presented in law that people were referring to when talking with voters about the referendum coming up. So I do think it is in accordance with that, and that people have had over a year to look at that, and that is what people were considering when they voted on the referendum.
Okay, well, thank you for that. Thank you for that, because that was, I must say, the speed at which this is moving, that's one of my biggest concerns at this point, is whether people have had adequate time to look at what we're talking about today.
Sir, and on that point, respectfully, I think it is important that the voters be able to elect those officials as soon as possible to expand to 5. And so in keeping with the time schedule for those upcoming elections, I think it is important to address this sooner rather than later. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Just to briefly, because I know that many of us on the state and local government committee are familiar with this issue going back a while, but Senator Black, it might be helpful, Senator Black, if you could just, I know that this was brought forward, now that we have it kind of in culmination, what were the major concerns you and others are trying to address with having this done? I mean, just briefly, so that I think it should be restated for the record, maybe.
I think thank you, Senator Baldacci. I think the number one concern within the county, north and south, was to be able to expand to 5 county commissioners. That was the number one priority. We feel that most of the towns in Franklin County have 5 selectmen, and a lot of them are as small as 1,000 people, and a lot smaller budgets. We're talking 30,000 people here and a budget between $6,000 and $7,000. And we just thought that it would be better to have more people making those decisions for the county. And we heard that over and over. And the other secondary concern in considering 5 commissioners is Northern Franklin County has Ranger Lake and Saddleback, and then on the west side and on the east side, it has Carabasset Valley with Sugarloaf. Both of those have airports. Those 2 towns alone now represent over 25% of our valuation in the county and growing. And if you take the surrounding towns, the plantations around them, it becomes 50% now of the evaluation of the county. We're losing it in the southern part with Jay and the loss of Verso Paper Mill. Jay was one of the largest ones, but they have been losing valuation. And so in this new map definitely gives both of those areas a chance, and it's up to the voters with this map of maybe being represented with 2 out of the 5 county commissions. It's all up to the people and who runs. And I think this is a very good map to do that, and a very nonpartisan map, as I'm a co-sponsor and of the original, both of the original bills, along with most of the Franklin County delegation. And we wholeheartedly support the proposal to go to 5 county commissioners and this map.
Great. Thank you very much, Senator. Representative Reisman, you have your hand up.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can you hear me okay now?
Can hear you loud and clear.
Good. I'm on my phone. This is coming from my phone now. I just wanted to reintroduce myself for the record. My name is Walter Reisman. I live in Harrison, represent District 69, which is Bridgeton, Harrison, and Denmark. And my question is to our legal analyst, does she see any concerns with this legislation as it's written that we should know about?
Lynn, you want to go ahead?
Yes, thank you, Representative Reisman. So I can tell you that this bill and this amendment and the process that you're being asked to follow has been discussed at length with the Attorney General's office, and they have confirmed the opinion that the Constitution does require action before January 15th. So that is why the deadline is the way it has been set up. And I can confirm that that 5% deviation that has been discussed is how the courts have interpreted the constitutional requirement that the districts be equal. That there's a funky phrase, but that in the Constitution, but basically that the districts be as equal as possible. So I do not see any legal issues with either the process or what has been presented in the amendment.
So any other questions from members of the committee? Yes, Representative Matlack.
Thank you, sir. I understand that there is an amendment to the original 895 that provides exact language. Moving forward, would that be the will be voting on an amended bill and including the language that Representative Dunphy has submitted as an amendment to the original bill?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. So that is how this was set up. The amendment was shared and publicized for the public to comment on. And if the committee so votes, it would be a committee amendment to LD 895, which was a concept draft bill. And so the amendment that you would vote on could be as it was shared with you all and with the public.
Thank you. Another question, sir. I'm wondering, in as much as if this is timely, and as Representative Toole mentioned, during the holiday season, this is not a contentious bill. I'm wondering if we might move forward and move into a work session and be able to vote on the bill today so that we can complete our work. I don't see that there's any opposition to the configuration of the 5 districts, that they were discussed regularly and refer to a map that we're now going to be approving with just a minor change in to meet the requirements of the population.
So Representative Matlack, if you'd like to make a motion to that effect, I will entertain it.
I move that I make a motion that we proceed into a work session.
There's a second to that motion?
Second.
So moved and seconded. Representative Toole, you have your hand up.
I'm sorry, that was accidental.
Okay, no worries.
Representative Greenwood.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a quick question. Does this proposed amendment affect any sitting county commissioners in their existing terms? So, meaning somebody that's not currently elected, or does it cut short any term that somebody that might already be elected?
Senator Black,
No,
do you want to answer that?
I think Lynn could answer that question for us. She seems to be ready for that one.
I can. Thank you, Madam Chair. So this, as drafted, would not cut short any of the current commissioners, the current 3 commissioners. 2 of them have terms that expire in 2024, which is when this bill would go into effect. The commissioner in District 3 is up for re-election in 2022 and would be serving a 2-year term if this bill is adopted, so that all 3 would expire in 2024.
Representative Toole, your hand is now up again.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Lynn, for that explanation. So is it because of the commissioner that's up in 2022 that the need to have this done by January 15th occurs? Is that the rationale for that, or is it something else?
Thank you, Representative Toole. It is actually something else. It's the Constitution. So in the Constitution, apportionment of the county commissioner districts must be introduced and acted upon within a certain time frame. And January 15th is the date when something must be introduced. And then the legislature has 30 days to act upon it. And if you do not, then the next time you can reapportion would be 10 years from now.
I see. So it doesn't absolutely have to be done by January 15th. We have 30 days thereafter. Is that, because I was a little confused on that as well.
So you are correct. The Constitution says that the clerk of the House must submit a legislative document by January 15th, and the legislature under the Constitution has 30 days on which to act. I believe that currently the legislature has 2 sessions scheduled for January, one on the 5th and another one later in the month. So you just need to be very mindful of those deadlines.
Right. Well, thank you for that, because that was giving me a little bit of confusion as well. So thank you.
In terms of the motion to go to work session, can we just see a show of hands of those who favor going into a work session? Okay. Those opposed? Okay. Seeing no objection, we are now in a work session. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have more than enough for a quorum.
Mhm.
So the work session, my name is Senator Joe Baldacci. I represent District 9, which is the city of Bangor, the town of Herman, and will be presiding over this work session of the Joint Standing Committee on State and Local Government. The purpose of this meeting is for the committee to receive information from staff and others, for members to consider the legislative proposals before them and to make recommendation and reports to the legislature. Only committee members, the committee analysts, and those specifically invited to attend will be participating in the work session using Zoom. For members of the public wishing to observe this meeting is being live streamed on the committee's YouTube channel and will also be recorded for viewing after this meeting is concluded. We're also broadcasting the audio of this meeting on the legislature's website, legislature.maine.gov. This is a public meeting, and I must remind you that while we are meeting, discussion must happen on screen and not by way of Zoom chat. You may use the chat to request to speak, or to indicate that you're having a technical issue, or to indicate that you are momentarily stepping away from the screen. However, again, you are not to use the chat feature for substantive discussions. Members will speak with leave of the chair. Materials will be provided electronically for this meeting. When it comes time for the committee to vote, we must have a quorum present of at least 7 members, including a senator, in order to be counted as present. Your identity must be visually verifiable on the Zoom screen. I will just ask members to once again go around and introduce themselves, starting with Representative Greenwood.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Representative Randall Greenwood, House District 82, which are the towns of Litchfield, Monmouth, my hometown of Wales, in both Kennebec and Androscoggin County.
Representative Copeland.
Hi, my name is Lynn Copeland, and I'm honored to represent the folks in House District 14, which is coastal and downtown Saco.
Let's see, Senator Claxton.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm Ned Claxton and honored to serve Senate District 20, which consists of Auburn, Minot, Mechanic Falls, Poland, and New Gloucester.
Okay. Senator Rosen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm Kimberly Rosen, Senate District 8. My district goes from Castine up to Lincoln through the city of Brewer, and I live in Bucksport.
Representative Reisman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Walter Reisman. I live in Harrison, represent District 69, which is Harrison, Denmark, and Bridgeton. Thank you.
Representative Kathy Downs.
Good morning, and thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm Kathy Downs. I represent District 130, which is Bucksport and Norrington.
Great. Representative Toole.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm Will Toole. I represent the Machias Bay Area plus Lubec and Eastport.
Representative Bryant.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm Representative Mark Bryan. I represent House District 24, which is part of the town of Wyndham.
And my co-chair, Representative Ann Matlack. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. My name is Ann Matlack. I represent the communities of House District 92, including Cushing, Thomaston, South Thomaston, St. George, Matinicus, Creehaven, and the Muscle Ridge Islands.
I'll open the work session on this LD. Do you briefly just want to summarize where we are? I'm assuming we have to, and what votes, what motions need to be made?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. So you just had a public hearing on LD 895 at which you heard testimony on an amendment. This is a concept draft, so the amendment would be the language that you are considering. It redistricts, it apportions Franklin County into 5 districts beginning in November of 2024. It's based on the referendum vote of the voters in Franklin County. And this is a continuation of, as has been testified to, a bill in the 129th and the bill in the 130th asking Franklin County voters to vote on this. The amendment follows the 5-district plan that was included in both LD 940 and 621, with a minor exception, as has been discussed, and that minor exception is needed to comply with the actual census data for 2020 and to meet the constitutional requirement that the districts be as equal as possible. So if you wanted to adopt the amendment, it would be an ought to pass as amended on this bill. And I would suggest that you also include in that, if that was the motion to be made, any fiscal note, which I don't think that there will be one, but I can never say that for sure.
So do I hear any further discussion about this matter? Are there any motions that people wish to make? Representative Matlack.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to make a motion to move forward with the bill as amended, including any fiscal note if there is one.
Okay, is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I will ask Cheryl to call the roll.
Yes. LD 895, an act to make necessary changes to state law, ought to pass as amended. Senator Joseph Baldacci.
Yes.
Senator Joseph Baldacci, yes. Senator Kimberly Rosen.
Yes.
Senator Kimberly Rosen, yes. Senator Ned Claxton.
Yes.
Senator Ned Claxton, yes. Representative Ann Matlack.
Yes.
Representative Ann Matlack, yes. Representative William Toole.
Wait,
Representative William Toole.
I'm here.
Yes. Is it a yes or a no?
I can't, I got disconnected.
We're in the process of voting. Representative Toole, do you agree or do you agree?
We're voting
with
ought to pass
as amended?
Okay, yes.
Representative William Toole, yes. Representative Mark Bryant.
Yes.
Representative Mark Bryant, yes. Representative Randall Greenwood.
Yes.
Representative Randall Greenwood, yes. Representative Sean Paulus, absent. Representative Francis Head, absent. Representative Donna Dorr, absent. Representative Walter Reisman.
Yes.
Representative Walter Reisman, yes. Representative Kathy Downs.
Yes.
Representative Kathy Downs, yes. Representative Lynn Copeland.
Yes.
Representative Lynn Copeland, yes. That's 10 yes and 3 absent.
So it is passage. Lynn, do we need to take another vote? Or any other votes in order to accomplish this, or are we all set?
I think you're all set. The absent members will have till noon, I believe, on Friday to register their votes. And then, but we do have a majority vote, so the the amendment will move forward through processing.
Okay, and I congratulate the Franklin County delegation and thank Majority Leader Michelle Dunphy for shepherding this and making sure it happened. And I just want to wish happy holidays and a prosperous and peaceful new year to all, and look forward to seeing people in the next session. Have a nice Christmas.
Representative Toole?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I also want to echo Senator Baldacci's words and apologize for my phone being such a mess today. I've never done this on a phone before and will not be doing it again, suffice it to say. Thank you all very much for your patience and understanding.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Adjourn?
Yeah.
Thank you to the committee.
Yes. Motion to adjourn? I make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Second.
Seconded. Have a nice day. Thank you.
Bye all.
Bye all.
Bye. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Mm.